Welcome to our regular sports feature. I'm Diana Brazil, and today we will look back at the main sports events of this past weekend. The Romanian tennis player Simona Halep, number 3 WTA, lost the final of the tournament in Toronto, Canada, against the Swiss Belinda Bencic, world number 20. The Romanian player quit in the decisive set at 7-6, 6-7, 3-0 because of health problems. Halep received $227,640 and 585 WTA points for her qualification into the finals. This was Simona's fourth final this year in the professional circuit, after the ones in Shenzhen, China, Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, and Indian Wells, which she has won. Romanian fighter Lucian Buda scored a technical knockout over the Italian Andrea Di Luisa, European super middleweight champion, in the first round of a gala held in Central in Montreal, Canada. This was the first fight for the Romanian boxer after a 19-month break. In the fourth round, Buda knocked his opponent down with a left cross. Aged 35, Lucian Buda thus won the 32nd fight in his career and the 25th by knockout. In the seventh leg of the National Football League 1, the following results have been reported. On Friday, Petrol Ploiești FC Botoșani 2-1. On Saturday, Poli Timișoara, Universitatea Craiova 1-1. Steaua Bucharest, ASEA Târgu Mureș 1-1. And on Sunday, FC Voluntari Giurgiu 1-2. And TFMS Iași Dinamo Bucharest 0-0. Topping the standings at present are Astra Giurgiu with 14 points, followed by Dinamo Bucharest with 13 points and TFMS Iași with 11 points. Romania has qualified into the semi-final group stage of European Under-17 Women's Handball Championship held in Macedonia. Coached by Mariana Turcă, the Romanians came in second in the competition's Group B, and in the semi-final group they will be playing against Sweden and Slovenia, the top two teams in Group A. And this has been all in Sports Roundup today. Don't forget that you can also follow our sports feature online at www.ora.ro and on Facebook. Radio Romania International.
Before our next program, let's have a look at some of the highlights of our weekly broadcasting schedule. On Mondays, we broadcast The History Show, the program that takes you on a foray into the rich history of the Romanian people, from its beginnings to more recent times. You will learn about the events that shaped the Romanian nation, not only from historians, but also from people who witnessed some of those events, thanks to Radio Romania's rich oral history archive. If it's Tuesday, then it must be Business Club. Like most countries, Romania has recently been suffering from the effects of the global economic crisis and has been striving to stay afloat. Find out about the latest developments on the Romanian economic scene in our business feature on Tuesdays. On Wednesday, Society Today provides in-depth analysis of some of the most important social issues facing Romania today, featuring interviews with sociologists and experts, as well as members of the public. Traveler's Guide, our weekly tourism program, goes out on Thursdays and takes listeners to all corners of Romania for an exploration of the country's landmark tourist sites, as well as some of its hidden treasures, from rural, eco-friendly holidays to adventure travel and exclusive getaways. The world we live in is full of challenges, from migration to climate change, the economic crisis and international terrorism. All of these issues and more are dissected in The Future Starts Today on Friday. Stay tuned to Radio Romania International during weekends for the latest from the world of Romanian arts and culture, including reports from ongoing festivals and events, as well as interviews with artists, poets and critics, in Saturday's World of Culture. And on Sunday, Listeners' Letterbox takes a look at some of the letters and messages sent in by our listeners and brings you the latest on our programs and frequencies. Stay tuned for all these and much, much more on Radio Romania International, including current affairs, analysis, sports, and lots of music.
Before the installation of the communist regime under Soviet occupation, the supporters of the communist ideology were seen as idealists. Although they made up a marginal group, their message was vocal because of the radical nature of the model they proposed. In Romania, communist ideas only appealed to a small public, and when communism became the official state ideology in Russia, they became even more marginal. Bolshevik Russia became Romania's main enemy due both to the historical relations between the two countries and the aggressive policy of the Communist International, known as Comintern. The supporters of communism in Romania before the installation of the communist regime were believed to be on the USSR's payroll and suspected of harboring anti-Romanian sentiments. Historian Adrian Cioroianu was the coordinator of a book containing the biographies of some of the Romanian communist leaders before 1945, when communism came to power in this country. Names like Vasile Luca, Gheorghe Gheorghiu, Petre Constantinescu Iași, Ana Paucăr, Nicolae Ceaușescu, and Petre Gheorghe were representative figures of the ruling power in Romania between 1945 and 1989. Adrian Cioroianu.
În proximitatea Uniunii Sovietice, numărul comuniștilor era...
In the countries neighboring the Soviet Union, the number of communists was relatively low, perhaps also because of the fears concerning Russian expansionism. However, there are also different nuances to consider. In Romania, for instance, the Communist Party had been banned as early as 1924, while Czechoslovakia had a bigger proletariat and a social foundation for the development of left and far-left politics. When looking at this period, I believe it is essential to make the distinction, when it comes to public discourse, between truth based on historical documents and preconceived ideas. In Romania, before the installation of the communist regime, there were about several thousand people who, for one reason or another, believed in the future of a type of left-wing politics that was being experimented in the Soviet Union. We should not make the mistake of judging the 1930s from what we know today. We must accept the idea that, just like in the case of the far right and the local legionnaire movement, which attracted many young people, a number of people, from lawyers to workers, had left-wing sympathies. They believed that the model adopted by the Soviet Union could usher in a better future.
Intellectuals, members of the middle classes, workers, all those who embraced the communist ideology did so for different reasons. For example, the Romanian intellectuals who applauded the Soviet Union were influenced by the West. Adrian Cioroianu explains.
Erau oameni care, paradoxal, erau atenți la ce se întâmplă în Occident. Numărul comuniștilor în Occident.
Paradoxically, these were people who followed the developments in the West very closely. The number of communists in the West was